Guys, before I tell you anything, today we're going to discuss two stupid people debating and how they're both wrong. So this is going to be a nuclear blast of cringe. So don't tell me that you had to finish this video in 3 sessions because it was so full of cringe. Um, if you do, like, that's not my fault. I'm warning you at the beginning of the video. So let's go.
As a woman.
A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex. Now, define a man. Define a man.
You're looking.
You know what? I would return to this later, but I would talk about what he has to say next first. And Child is so stupid. He's gonna go on about random shit without ever actually connecting the dots because he is that stupid.
One XY chromosomes in a.
Okay, but does God the Father have XY chromosomes?
Okay,
Prior to incarnation?
We literally have a religious
He's
topic
a father and he's him, but he's...
You know, the problem with Charlie is he is a believer, so he is never willing to look into the idea that maybe God is not real and it's a concept used by ancient humans. So these people are both stupid, but Charlie, he just so happens to be a little bit more stupid, so he cannot comprehend why gods in monotheistic gods at least are always seen as fathers. The creators are seen as male.
Not a man?
We have a religious.
Wait, so a man is someone with XY chromosomes, but he doesn't have XY chromosomes, yet he's still a man, and he still uses preferred
It's
pronouns?
actually very interesting. God the Father is so above gender. It is so above.
Yeah, he'd go on to say, oh, yeah, he is so above gender. Oh, he is so, he is so outside of our understanding. Like, dude, the idea of God the Father is not because the concept of God is beyond our understanding, but rather the fact that when we believed in these things, or rather when we came up with these things, the nature of the universe, the way things were created was above our understanding. The concept of God is simply used to fill these gaps in our knowledge. So I would still get to why God is male, but yeah, look at these stupid people just rolling their eyes. And it's also unfair when you have one guy debating with 20 people. It doesn't make sense. These intersectionalists, woke tards, they always make these stupid expressions when they don't have a good argument themselves and they're debating another person equally stupid.
With glory and understanding. Again, because you have to make a choice, either he or him or...
And you have to explain why the choice of he was made. You have to explain why the choice of he was made.
Her in the original scriptures. Let's go back to...
Some fathers aren't men and boys? So some fathers are not men and boys, not men or boys.
I'm sorry.
Some fathers are not male.
No,
guys, some fathers are not male. Like, dude, if this gives you some sense of accomplishment to trick someone with low IQ with your false argument and you feel like you have won, then I wouldn't call this a win.
So God the Father's a male?
Hold on, God the Father. So where do we get God the Father from? What Greek word?
From your scripture.
Well, from Abba, right? Which is...
Nah, it's not from just one scripture. The concept is, and I would like to discuss, we talk a lot about man the hunter, man the provider, man the protector, but do we ever talk about man the inventor? Guess what? Most of the inventions throughout human history have been done by men, and it's not because women were oppressed, and Roy Baumeister again points this out. It's because men are on average 4 IQ points higher. Men form the majority of geniuses in modern IQ tests, and not to mention, and also the hyper geniuses, people who are above like 150 IQ even. There's almost no women there. So aside from that, just look at this stat. 88% of unique inventions are by men, and 12% of unique inventions are by women. This is in countries which have like a 1:1 male to female employment ratio. So not just is this one thing to consider, the other thing is the number of female patents and business ideas which actually get venture capitalist funding. And again, these people will be like, but bro, it's because venture capitalist funding is biased against women. But how the fuck are people gonna be biased against their own fucking profits? They're not gonna be biased against their own fucking profits. Only 2.5% of female inventions are useful enough. No, not 2.5%. Like a sixth of these are useful enough to. I'm probably doing the math wrong, so fuck it. I was never a good guy in maths. It turns out that women receive only 2.5% of venture capitalist funding. So only 2.5% of ideas, inventions, all of that are truly useful enough. Always remember, unique doesn't mean useful. If women are making 12% of unique inventions, it doesn't have to mean that all 12% of them have to be useful. Men are not just make more unique inventions, they make more functional and useful inventions that deserve venture capitalist funding and get venture capitalist funding. So the point I was trying to make with this is, for most of human history, when men have made most of the stuff, when we were truly questioning why we exist, what might have created this universe, just as we project other feelings, other human emotions onto this entity to fill that gap in our knowledge, we sort of project the male sex onto it as well, because men were the ones doing most of the creation. The creative nature of this entity that we use to fill our gaps in knowledge with was, of course, also greatly common in men. So this was a projection of human nature. Of course, this requires an admission that God is not something that is real, but rather, just like I mentioned, something that served its purpose to fill gaps in knowledge. And humanity has its own limitations when it comes to understanding stuff. So when we are imagining an entity that is creative, we often associate maleness to it. We are born to do that. When you show children pointy rocks and ask them why that rock is pointy, they don't have a design stance, they don't have a physical stance. The stance that they take always is an intentional stance. Now, Richard Dawkins talks about these three stances, and Daniel Dennett, of course. They talk about these stances in great detail. So the children would believe that those pointy rocks exist so the animal can scratch their back. And when they are also shown one dot following another dot, they believe that the dot following the other dot is actually chasing it. And then when they suddenly change the simulation and this dot at the back stops following the first dot, those children express astonishment, because even that young they believe that two dots, just one moving behind the other, has to mean the dot behind it is chasing the other dot. So we have these tendencies of projection, we have these tendencies of teleology. This is another related concept. So we project these tendencies, these ways and manners onto inanimate objects. That inanimate object in this regard being the concept of God. Also, so it doesn't mean that you can be a father without having XY chromosomes. It just means that humanity has its own limitations in every sort of way, and that just requires an honest admission, like I said. So because of that maleness is the idea of God the Father. That's where God the Father comes from. Also, let's now talk about this bit that he says.
All right, Parker, what is a woman?
A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex. Now, define a man. Define a man.
Alright, that hand gesture is just stupid. Like, look at these people, retarded hand gesturing, pedo, pussy stash, and colorful clothes. I'm not offending, you guys, but if any of you like wearing colorful clothes, but it's a bit of a pussy move, and I don't really care. Plus, this channel does bash its viewers anyways. Both I and Orca do, so it doesn't matter if I bash you guys anyways. So yeah, so sorry but not sorry. A
Set
desire.
of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex. Now, define a man.
All right, Parker, what is a woman?
A woman is an adult human person that has a desire to be in accordance with a particular set of social and cultural norms that are typically associated with the female sex.
Now, why might they have the desire to not be in accordance with these physical and cultural norms that are associated with the female sex? Because they're indoctrinated and taught that being a woman is inherently a negative position in life. That being a woman is something that is oppressive, that has been a reason for centuries of oppression, which is simply not true. You ask most of these people, they would tell you some stupid excuse. Oh, I don't feel like a woman in this body. I feel like a man. Like, how are you supposed to know what being a man actually feels like unless you also have the physical characteristics of a man to begin with? You don't know what it's actually to be like a man, to be born in the body of a man. What you think is the grass is greener on the other side. That's exactly what it is. I need some water. Like, wait a moment. So you have these preconceived notions that being a man is advantageous, while what you are actually looking at is the top 1% of men. Most men don't have it that easy in life, and specifically once you transition, quote unquote, that is just growing your clit with hormones, chopping off your boobs and cutting your hair short, and working out till you gain significant amount of muscle in your chopped off pectoral area. That's what, according to them, how the fuck did I actually like it? That's what being a man is according to them. Now, look at this. Credits to Rehab Room.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs.
Wait a moment. I thought women who transitioned knew what it was like to be a man. That they did not feel like women in their own bodies, and that being a woman was what's uncomfortable, and being a man is something that is not lonely. Like, guys, this is peak comedy. This is sad, and at the same time, this is peak comedy. Guys, like Jean Paul Sartre said, hell is in being seen. Unless you know what it's like to be seen as a man, an average man, you would never know what it's actually like to be the average guy, or the sub-average guy in this case, because she transitioned into what looks like, into something that looks like an average to somewhat above average looking man with the body frame of a 9-year-old boy. So of course she gets respect, love and attention from both men and women alike on the basis of that. They believe that being a man, any man, is advantageous in life, which is simply not true. They want to be defying of their biological sex, not be in accordance with those norms expected of the female sex, because they believe if they try to live up to the norms of the male sex, they would survive and they would thrive and they will have it better. The thing is, living up to the norms of the male sex and being happy are reserved for a minority of men, and it's of course not what your body is gonna allow you. You have a dream and you believe that you can turn that dream into a reality. So with that, I would leave you guys. So don't fall for logical traps like this, and don't watch retards like Child debate other retards.